What's up, awesome artists? My name is Karen Campbell from Awesome Art School. Do you struggle like I do to draw really nice smiling faces with teeth? Normally I avoid them at all costs. But in today's video, my good friend Claudia Finelle is going to take over and she's going to show us exactly how it's done. Claudia Finelle is a really good friend of mine who lives close to me locally, and she is a masterful watercolorist and oil painter. And today she's going to walk you through step by step how to make this project.
We're going to start by constructing the head and using guidelines. Here I'm measuring the angle of the tilt of her head because it's very charming and I want to make sure I get it. And also when I pick up the pencil, I'm once again measuring the angle of where her eyes would be. And here I'm drawing the sphere for her, what would be her skull, to start shaping her face. And the jawline, and start flaring out the line a little bit to meet her skull. Trying to go for symmetry here as much as possible. So I go over it a few times and I do it lightly so I can find that shape that I want. And now I'm not doing a portrait, I'm rather just using her as reference. So in the end, it's not going to look exactly like the original. I'm just kind of choosing the things I like. Once the ears are in, I know where the eyes are going to be, where the nose and the mouth is going to be, and I'm going to find that angle for the smile, because smiles are very tricky. They could look very cartoon if you're not careful, but they do have a curve because they wrap around the face. And emphasizing the corners, because once again they wrap around, so the corners of the mouth are really dark. And for the teeth, I will not do individual teeth, rather I'll do all the teeth together as one form. That's the center. There's a little gap there from the top tooth to the lip. And so I'm looking at the picture to make sure the placement for the eyes, right? How wide apart they are. And that looks pretty good to me. I'm comparing, they look pretty even. Now the inside corner of the eye is lower than the outside corner. So I had just measured that. I like to draw the entire iris and then wrap the lid around it because it helps me, especially when you're drawing eyes like this that are very squinted and smiley, because it just makes it easier. You know, it helps me to make sure the eyes are looking in the same direction. And also I look at the negative space, so like the space in between the iris and the corners of the eyes, just to double check to make sure they look okay. But having that round iris there really helps a lot to get that right. And I like to draw the top lid heavier, just something I picked up from manga that I really enjoy. And I keep double checking and going around the face and around the face until I get what I want. I'm going to put a little crease of the eyelid on top of the eye there, kind of describes where the ball of the eye is, and my eyebrows. And I keep going back and forth with my eyes, looking at the reference and looking back at my paper. Now, I think that the mouth got a little sloppy. Don't worry. I'm going to redraw pretty much exactly where I had it, just not so many lines. Because I want to keep it very high key and very light. So yeah, I'm cautious about what I put in. Sometimes with smiles and with art in general, what you leave out is as important as what you choose to put in there. I was thinking that I didn't want to draw much of a nose at all, and I was just going to wait until painting to put some shadow there for the nose. Keep double checking, going around and around. Make sure everything works together. And when I do the hair, I want to, rather than do individual strands, I want to look at, kind of bunch it up together and look for shapes again. And also I curve it around the head, and that helps describe the roundness of the head, right? And the hair is gonna be fun. I'm gonna use big, quick strokes and try to make it look kind of flowy and graceful as much as possible. Some of it is wrapping around her neck, and it comes in and just makes her neck a little bit narrower. Sometimes it's nice to leave a little space, some like hairs are just kind of sticking out a little bit, or the wind is sweeping them. Yeah, I'm giving the eyes a lot of attention, because when you smile, you don't only smile with your mouth, right? So I'm going to put the hat in, and I'm trying to measure, checking angles again. I'm trying to measure the sides, how wide the hat is, and I'm using really my whole forearm to get that movement of that curve and kind of connect the dots, but in a curved way to get that hat going. And I make adjustments, right? If I went a little overshot my little marks there, I make adjustments now. This is where her shoulders are. I'm trying to find placement for them. And her blouse is kind of poofy on the sleeves, which is cute. And I will check once again the angle to make sure that they are where they're supposed to be, and they are, so I'm going to keep going with the drawing. Placement of the arms. I take my time with the drawing because it's like my roadmap. Once I'm painting, I don't want to have to worry about it. More hair. And she's got a really cute bow on her blouse, which I'm going to get to very soon. It's right around there. Hair draped around her shoulder. My eye, as well as my hand, is going all over the picture, as you can tell. I'm having a lot of fun with that hair. I really enjoy making pretty lines on fabric. It's a little squiggly. Yeah, that looks better, the arm coming out. And keep making adjustments. There's that bow. So I decided to outline with a waterproof pen only some parts of her face. I'm going to do the corners of her mouth because they're the darkest. And then I'm going to touch on her eyes and just a couple of punchy blacks, if you will, where it's going to be the very darkest. Because this is going to be such a high key picture, I'm not going to outline everything. So I'm going to switch to some color pencils at some point, just to make the edges softer, not as harsh as a pen would make it. And I think at this point I'm just going to put some music for a while. And once again, I'm paying a lot of attention to the eyes and the mouth because that's my focal point. This picture is going to be about her expression mostly. Remember that the outline is really your final drawing in a way, so if you want to make any adjustments and editing, you could do it at this point. And have fun with it, but do be careful as you were when you first were drawing the picture. We're almost there. I don't think I'm going to do much more outlining at this point. And I'm mostly getting ready to start painting it. Just a couple of more pencil marks and we're done. See, I'm having just too much fun with that hair. Now let's erase it and we'll get ready to paint. I'm just going to use my koi watercolors that I use for my classes and my favorite little cup there. And I have some round brushes, different sizes, which hold a lot of water. So the way I'm going to apply the paint to her face is going to be by putting a lot of water on it all over. And this is so that I can avoid watermarks when the paint dries, and I am going to keep my eye on it while it's drying. But this way, it's just the paint moves very freely and it's very soft. It's more like coloring than painting maybe. And yeah, I don't clean my palette because I keep reusing those colors. I'm just going to grab anything warm that I found there and start applying it to where the shadows are and let the paint kind of move on its own. Like I said, there's different ways to apply watercolor paint. Everything about this picture is going to be soft, so that's why I choose to do it this way. Give it a try. And like I said, I wanted to avoid watermarks and to just have her skin look very smooth. So that's why I'm doing it like this. I will put some music on for you. Okay, I think we're almost there now with our first layer. And we're going to have to let this dry before we start applying our darker colors. So yeah, I think just a few more details, a few folds there, creases on the blouse. And yeah, at this point, we're going to let her dry and we'll continue with the darker colors on her hair in a couple of minutes. So I'm just mixing some dark colors for the shadow parts of her hair, which I really love doing this part. And you have to make sure the paint is pretty dry because you don't want those areas running into your face unless you want them to. And this way you can draw strands of hair and just really give it a lot of volume. And keep looking for shapes, you know, if possible. And have fun. So we're almost done now. I'm just adding a few touches. Well, okay, the eyes. But I'm going to just add a few finishing touches. Put some blue, get some cool colors for some of the shadows. There they go. And just do it with a lot of water to keep them very soft and keep watching them as they dry so that I don't get my watermarks. And just look at the overall picture and see where else we need to punch up things a little bit. And now all that's left here is to let it dry one more time, and I'm just going to throw some green background on it to look like it's a field. And like I said, I'm going to keep everything very high key or very bright because that's what I'm into lately. I hope you guys enjoyed my little demo. Karen, thank you so much for inviting me to do Fun Fab Faces. You're always pushing me to do things a little better, and I love you for that. And keep having fun, you guys. I'll keep drawing more faces. Bye-bye.